Welcome to Season 8 of the Meet the Mancunian Podcast, Social Impact Stories from Manchester. A warm Mancunian welcome from your host, Deepa Thomas-Sutcliffe. Thank you for joining me today. Every Tuesday, I bring you the stories of Manchester's unsung heroes, the individuals who help to create positive change in our community. My aim is to inspire you, dear listener, to follow your own passions, whether through volunteering or through working in the social impact sector. I'm also keen to spotlight good causes and create more awareness and support for them. Whether you're tuning in on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or on my website, meetthemancunian.co.uk, get ready for a season filled with inspiring tales of social impact within our beloved city. Welcome to the 7th episode of Season 8 of the Meet the Mancunian Social Impact Stories from Manchester. Passionate about mental health and fitness in the community? We hear from Mark Sproston, founder, Project 23, in this episode. In Mark's own words,
Project 23 is an award-winning, self-funding mental health group. I founded the group, obviously, because I wanted to try and stop suicide, and that's impossible. But I didn't realise at the time how big of a problem it was. It's horrendous why somebody wants to do that.
Thank you so much, Mark, for joining me today.
What a fantastic way for yourself to get to know people around Manchester. What was the reason for getting into a podcast?
It's not a business, it's actually a passion project. So I got into this for two reasons. One, because I'm passionate about social impact and I wanted to help other people follow their own passions and dreams by hearing about inspiring guest stories, their challenges they've overcome, and the lessons they've learned. The second reason is, as a new Mancunian, I wanted to get to know Manchester better and Manchester's culture and proud history and ethos. And it's been a wonderful journey because I've got to learn so much more that you just can't read or hear about as a new person. But through the voice of people who've been here for a long time, I'm getting really interesting perspectives.
I think you couldn't have picked a better set. Mancunians are fantastic people. And we do look after our own. And that's what Project 23 is about. We do try seriously to look after our own. The only other city I would say is even close is Liverpool. They like to look after their own as well. I'm a very proud Mancunian and I'm very proud Wythenshawe boy.
Absolutely.
Which, for people that don't know, it's an area in Wythenshawe. And it used to be the biggest council estate in Europe until I think they built one in Milton Keynes, which is took that mantle. But Wythenshawe's site, it's nice. It keeps its friends' site, and it's just like Manchester.
Absolutely. I also really enjoy Wythenshawe. The garden city is how I think of it. So many lovely parks and green areas. Tell us first about how you found your passion for mental health. When did that start?
When I look back, now I've done quite a lot of interviews, I didn't really realise. I've always been a person that's like to help the community. I was a football coach for under 10s and under 11s and under 12s. Then I was helping out at the cricket club. I can't play cricket to save my life, but I helped out. We got sponsored and we managed to get a bowling machine, which was very expensive. This is just going back in years. And then boxing. I've always loved my boxing. But it was so funny because some of the children that I had under 9s, under 10s, and under 11s, they're now men. They're like in the late 30s. And they still call me Gaffer. And it's just a lovely term. Neil Chappell especially. And Neil's had many fights and just doesn't lose. It's just amazing. But why did I get into mental health? I obviously had a caring side, which maybe I didn't even realise, to be quite honest. I just did it because I loved it. But the unfortunate thing is that my brother committed suicide. My baby brother, John Ball. I'll never forget the morning we got the call. It was quite funny in a way because I heard my phone go off as a text and it said, "Your Johnny's dead." And I thought it was, because I knew who would text me, it was the father of his girlfriend, but he's deaf and dumb, Darren. And I thought he'd had a row and he was like, "Go in, he's dead, I'm going to get him." he's done something wrong. So at first I thought, oh, I'll deal with it later. And I don't know, something was just there pecking me. I phoned him, and it was his daughter that answered the phone. And horrendous time. It was something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. I'll tell you what I did when I found out, and I think this needs to be mentioned because I don't like hiding anything, and I don't hide anything. There's no reason to. You've got to be honest when you're talking about mental health. I locked myself away for 12 months taking cocaine and drinking alcohol, something that just wasn't me. And then thankfully, something happened. And I'm saying that because it's the truth. And if I don't speak the truth, why are people going to speak the truth to me? I want people to know what I've been through as well. I like to be open because if I'm not going to be open, how are people going to come and be open to me?
First of all, really sorry to hear you lost your baby brother and under such circumstances and your mental health and many other things that you had to deal with during that time. I think you were just touching on how you got over it by starting to get involved with Project 23. Tell us what Project 23 is and what it does.
Yeah, Project 23 is an award-winning, self-funding mental health group. I founded the group, obviously, because I wanted to try and stop suicide, and that's impossible. But I didn't realise at the time how big of a problem it was. It's horrendous why somebody wants to do that. It beggars belief, but unfortunately, there's not enough support out there. We're going through this thing now with Prime Minister Sunak. They pulled the white paper on mental health 2 weeks before the King's speech, and the white paper was to basically increase the funding in the mental health sector. It could help more people. And they pulled the paper, and this is the third time they've done it. And so in one way, they're saying we care about mental health, but in another way, they're not prepared to put the money where the mouth is. And then all they've done now is that you'll see on the newspapers and then on the news, they're just terrorising the disabled. And when I say the disabled, it can be anyone from any walk of life that has to claim a disabled benefit. And it's frustrating to me because I am medically retired. I've got 38 years of national insurance paid, and I'm only 56, so I've worked damn hard to get that. The way that the government putting all this information out, the amount of people that are contacting me, but they're suicidal, and this isn't me just saying it, trying to score brownie points. These people are suicidal. And what it is that they're scared. They're getting a letter saying that we're going to do a review or we're going to do or offer the fan claimer. Frightened to death. And it's wrong. It's wrong on so many levels. Because the white paper that got pulled, I'm telling you now, you mark my words on this, there'll be more suicides. Suicides will go through the roof. The cost of living covers everything in regards of the price of electric, the gas, the food. People can't afford to live, and they're looking at taking benefits off people. What's gone wrong with the world? It's absolutely diabolical. But what will they do? We'll have a percentage on suicide, okay? So in 6 months' time, the suicide rate, in my opinion, would have at least gone up by a third. What did they do then? Say, oh, I'm sorry. Why don't they just have the mechanisms in place? It took somebody like me to spend my life savings on building the gymnasium, a beautiful gymnasium. It's in the security of my house, my garden, so it's a safe area. But it's getting near to its maximum, which is brilliant. But there's always places, there's always transport to get people flat. I don't think, or can't contact him because you can. So it's taking people like me, the community, and we've got some great people, and they're great people living with us. And what you've got to remember, these people are volunteers, and they're willing to help, and they're willing to be part of Project 23. I have to give a big shout out for my admin team. Project 23, that's how it all started, with the suicide of John Paul.
Tell us a little bit more about what Project 23 offers.
We do what needs to be done. We don't back off. We're there. When people come, okay, or when people contact us, it's very difficult for us to open up. So just put yourself in them shoes, okay? I said I was going to touch on what happened to me when I was a girl. I was sexually abused. Told my wife when my son was still inside her stomach. my first son. So you're talking 36 years ago. I was dead proud that I sold her because I'd never sold anyone else apart from one of my other siblings. When I come onto Project 23, this is what I'm more about, being open and being honest. Because if somebody comes to us, if you're not going to tell the truth and if you're not going to be open, which I totally get, it's very difficult at first, we can't help you to the best of our ability. So when I said about the drunken mother, the sexual abuse, homeless from being 14, the floodgates absolutely open massively, men and women, especially regarding the sexual abuse. And everyone was like, Mark, how can you say it publicly? And I'm like, because I can do anything wrong and you have not done anything wrong. And it was the best thing I've ever done. You see me smiling. It's because I think, because I had the boxing thing, I've always had a good, what did you call it? People have always looked up for me, or people always looking up for me. And I don't know why, but maybe because I'm just me. I've always enjoyed helping people. I've always enjoyed the football club, the boxing. Mark Sproston, how the hell have you done it? You're not embarrassed. And I'm like, no, I've not done anything wrong. So that is now so many people on this footing of it's okay to admit it. He's right, and we've not done nothing wrong. And I know for a fact, in at least 10 charges from the police to people since I released my statement, and every 10 has been found guilty. So I'm ecstatic. So what we do, we help you. But the first thing is you come to us, and what we'll do, we'll assess you. Okay? We're very caring, we listen, and we learn. We have the most strictest confidentiality policy ever in the world. Some people don't join the group as carers and helpers because it's too strict. Because I put in the rules that if they ever speak out of tune, I will name and shame them, and I'll do everything in my power to prosecute them. And I've had a couple of people that have said, oh, I'm not fine. And I'm like, you're on the right job. So we try and guide people to the best possible place. That's what Project 23 is about. But one thing we do, and we do good, we don't leave the side. We're going to be right there with them step by step. So what's the point of Project 23 if you're not doing it yourself? Because there's so many umbrellas. You have to guide people to the correct place, or you're not doing your job right. What's the point in having us? We can't be professionals in every single aspect. So PTSD, complex PTSD, massively different illnesses. When I first got told I had complex PTSD, I went mad at the doctor, saying, I've never seen my friend get shot. I've never seen a bomb go off. And because that's all I knew about, PTSD and complex PTSD. No, it's a lot more than that. It's about historical abuse. And that's why I suffer from it. So I was guided into the right place by my fantastic doctors at Brooklyn's Medical Practice. So I now take that on and I guide people into the right places. And I go and sit with them. Sometimes I'll attend the meetings with them, or I'll go sit outside and film them admin staff. And we'll just say as a massive safety net in with each other. Anyone comes to me, I've got their back. And my group's got their back. And that's the end of it. I'm telling you now, nobody is left vulnerable in my group, because that's not us. We're there, we'll do everything in our powers, get you the right help and get you to the right places.
Thank you so much, Mark, for sharing that journey. I love this philosophy of you're there to guide them and support them as they go through their own journey, and the safety net that you're providing. What challenges have you faced and overcome? We talked a lot about some of the personal challenges of going through PTSD and struggling with mental health after your brother's suicide.
Well, it's a bit weird, really, because the sexual abuse, I headed that well. I didn't tell anyone until I was sold Andrea many years ago. But then we kept it private. I didn't tell my children until they were over the age of 18. And the oldest son, obviously, we had to make sure that he didn't tell the youngest son, because the youngest son was still too young. And it would just work fine. But I dealt with it all right. And maybe that's why I am the person that I am, because I can talk about it. I didn't ask for it. And I'm big and strong and daft, if that's what you might call it. But look, at the end of the day, people can judge it how they want, but nobody will earn this in the nicest possible way. Nobody's going to sit in front of me and say anything derogatory about it, because what have I done wrong? And I think things happen for a reason, I really do. And I'll never find a reason why that happened. I can't ever get that in my head. But out of that has come Project 23. Out of a horrific, really terrible incident. And God, it's 2 boys and that. It's heartbreaking. And I do my best to try and look after them the best I can. But they live in Wales, we live in Manchester. There's something good that come from it. And the something good is that people that you don't know, we might have saved loads of lives by announcing about the sexual abuse. Somebody might have been at the end of the tether, which a lot of people do tell me they were, and they just couldn't ever decipher it. Why has this happened to me? Why was I the one? Why was I the victim? When a lot of people were at the end of the tether, in regards of the easiest way out was just jumping off a bridge. When you just think, whoa, no, look at me, I'm happy and bubbly. What happened to me? So what? Let's all get together and have a bath. No, nothing to look down and over that you when it comes to Project 23. And I think one of the good ethoses of Project 23 is we're all together. It doesn't matter what you've come through. We're all together because we're all here for the reason of we need help. And we're on this side, we're here because we're going to get you right.
Thanks, Mark. If you want to mention any challenges after setting up Project 23 you've had to overcome, lessons from how you maneuver there. I'm thinking about not you personally, but the project itself. Are there things you had to learn or do differently?
There's a guy called Andrew Parkinson, and he won't mind naming him because he's one of the main admin staff on the group. He started calling me the lamp. I was like, what the hell was that mean? I thought it was like a paedophile, so I was laughing with him. And he's, no, it means what you do. You keep giving money away and all this. And I love it. And I don't know balls about it. At the end of the day, I'm doing my best to try. And the only thing that is that the funds dried up. And it was never going to last forever. But because sometimes you hear people, for this cost of living now, I always just wish that could fix everyone's problems, and I can't. And that gets me frustrated. And you might be thinking, what's a nationwide thing? It's a bit daft that you're bringing that up. No, it's not a bit daft that I'm bringing that up, because I tried everything in my powers to fix that. I realise that it's impossible. I can't pay everybody's bills. But not for 1 second do I think, why did I do that? Why I spent a lot of money. But I'm very proud of it. And I'd do it again. But any other things I can honestly say to you, if you hit any stumbling block, everything's been cool. But around the Winnie Shore area, and we keep saying the Winnie Shore area, we're nationwide. I've got people in Scotland, I've got people in Exeter, I've got people in London, I've got people in Wales. So we are nationwide. It's just that sometimes when you say you're nationwide, it takes that personal touch away. But we're mainly Winnie Shore, and we're very proud of it. But we're doing something that needed to be done, and there wasn't anything on this scale. And I was fortunate in a way where when I really hit rock bottom, my cousin Daniel Murray, he comes to me house and, what are you doing? Get out of this bedroom, for God's sake. And I'm like, just effing leave me alone. Anyway, he took me to the Champs Camp in Moss Side, the Phil Martin Centre. Phil Martin was a fantastic guy. Phil died young, but I went there and I was training hard. And I realised that the endorphins in your brain, when you're training, and I was training alongside the professional, you can't mess about there, because they'll just ask you to leave. And I was there for 5 years, and was training 5 days a week. So this is how the gym was born. I knew every time I went for a session, I was on top of the moon. And I say to people, when the endorphins are released in your brain, there is no better drug in the world. You can't buy a better drug because it's fantastic. It gives you the energy, it gives you the switched onness of being on the ball. It just makes you want to be around people. It makes you want to be alive. And that's what's wrong with a lot of people that suffer with mental health. They don't want to be alive. They don't want to be here. And what Project 23 shows them that there's another side to everything. And you see my story, you see so many other people's stories. And it's brilliant because I'm not just picking on women here, but you get men and they like coming because they have boxing bags up because boxing was my game, but I do have everything else, rowing machine, bikes, everything that you can think of. And when the worry come and they've not been to the gym before, and they're like, "You're pushing me here, mate. You're making me come to the gym," and they're laughing at me. And I think to myself, I can't wait till you get home. So they do the first session. And I say to Andrea, I reckon by 9 o'clock she'll ring. And I've ended to get it wrong. And what they do, they go home and they get a shower, that endorphin hits. And they can't not follow me because they don't know what to do with it. The head's switched on. And honestly, I mean, I don't get it right. Sometimes you might phone me the following day, but I do laugh when I see the name come up on the phone and I say, "Look, she's holding," and I answer it and they go, "Mark, I feel great, feel fantastic. How did you know this?" And I'm like, experience. Just years of experience, not necessarily in the mental health world.
You're telling us about endorphins, and that brings us very well to the impact you've made. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Endorphins is a natural balance chemical in your brain, and basically it's released when you keep fit. So basically, the endorphins are released. It's a chemical in your brain that's released, and you can't get a better chemical. It's absolutely fantastic. It just makes you be alive. It just makes you feel great. And this is what I try and push on the group. We have a gymnasium there, and we're not all about the gymnasium. A lot of it just once-for-one meetings, and we give it well. We're just good at what we do. And everything's free of charge as well. I want to stipulate that. We don't charge anything to anybody, and we never would do. As long as I'm alive, it'll always be free. But the gymnasium is a big part of helping people, but you don't have to join the gymnasium. It's not enough. 9 times out of 10, to be honest, I think it's 10 times out of 10 when people are trained in the gymnasium and they get home and they have to shower. They always told, they're like, what's happened? Don't understand how I feel. It's good. And I'm like, yeah, it's just amazing. This is what it's about. And then stories are good, really, because people that are really not into the gymnasium, if you listen to them on the group and put stories out there, it makes people think, you know what, I'm going to try it. And like I say, nobody has to try the gymnasium. Don't worry about that. Everything is about helping you whichever way you guys want to go. We'll dangle the carrot, but you don't have to buy it. We're here for whichever way you want to do it. And it's been very successful up to now. So let's hope there's another 3 years left in us.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Mark, and really good impact that you're making. Is there a myth you'd like to bust? Is there something that people may assume about mental health or about Project 23 that you'd like to clarify?
To be honest, I don't think there's one. And I know it makes me sound like I'm a big-headed toes, but there's no common myth in regards to the myth is that we help people. And I think with the amount of stories that people, it is a private group, and we have to do that because of a lot of people won't join it otherwise. But word of mouth, in with his show, somebody will know somebody that knows somebody, if you understand. And when I first started the group, I didn't think that we'd get anywhere near the amount of people that we've had over the years. People come and go. I think I know a lot of people do go, to be quite honest. A lot of people just stay in, think it's like a bit of a safety net, knowing that it's there, and if they get down a little bit, they can just switch on and listen to a few people having a chat, because we do have a chat forum as well. But there's no misconceptions in regards of, we just do what it says on the tin. We just help people, and we'll guide you in the right way. We'll show you which way we think you can go. And no one's ever complained. Whatever we've done has always seems to be right. And don't take that as me being a big head. We don't gain financially. We're not doing it for financial gain. We're doing it because we care. And I think when people realise that you do it because you care, then they'll open up to you a little bit more. Because I know so many things. I will never, ever dream in any walk of life of speaking about anybody, because that would just be vile. That would be disgusting. But it'll never happen in Project 23. Don't be scared of coming along, because everything is totally private and confidential. When all we're trying to do is help. If it's not for you, just say thanks, but no thanks. But we've never had that. I can honestly say I've never known it. I don't know if any of the other admins have had that. Yeah, I've never. People are just so thankful and so grateful that there's somewhere that, because you see, we're away from the benefit structure. where they can sell us anything. A lot of people, and I know this, that when you're speaking to somebody that's from a government body regarding if it's medical, anything, mental health, I don't think they open up too good because they don't know who gets to see that information. But with me, nobody gets to see it because it's all in here. Don't ever write anything down. It's all in here. And that's what you've got to be good at. You've got to be clever. But it just seems to be doing what it says on the tin, and it's good. To be honest, I don't go out that often, right? But when I do, and then if I see, I'll always get to one shower, and I look and I think to myself, 12 months ago, that person, she'd not been out for 5 years, or he'd not been out for 5 years. And now they're screaming across the road, letting the world see him waving. And I think we've done something all right. I mean, it's really good.
It's a wonderful safe space that you're creating for people.
It is a safe place. It could really be described as that, as a safe place to come.
Okay. What advice would you have for people looking to start a similar movement in their local community?
Be committed. You can't go into this half-heartedly. There's been times where I've been absolutely shattered, but that phone rings and somebody's in a bad way, I'll get in my car and go out. And it's all well and good. People say to me, Mark, you look tired, you're doing too much. And I do have my own mental health issues, but it just seems to get this massive helping hand when I'm helping somebody. But you can't switch your phone off at 8 o'clock at night. You can't switch your phone off at 10. It's got to be on constantly, because I would hate to think that once I switch that phone off, and big corporations have told me to switch my phone off, and I'm like, no, I can't do that, because if I had a missed call from Mr. A or Mrs. A, and then the next day I found out they died, how would I ever come? It's not my cup of tea. If you're ever thinking of starting, maybe come and join the 23 for 6 months and just see what it's about. And be open, say that you're thinking of starting a group, and I'll help you to the best of my ability. Because the more groups that are out there, the better for me, the better for the community. And I love Willie Shaw. Yeah, don't think of it. Anyone that loves Willie Shaw as much as I do. I really do love it.
So, Mark, just because we have listeners from 50 different countries, not everybody can actually come here. So besides the committed, is there any other advice you'd like to offer?
Basically, you've just got to be committed, like I said. You've got to commit to it. This isn't something you can do half-heartedly. I was pushed into it because my brother committed suicide. Would I have done it if my brother wouldn't have died? I don't think I would, and that's me being honest. But like I say, things happen for a reason, and I think that was my reasoning. I didn't want to do this because my brother died. But I would imagine if you're doing this without a reason behind it, you must have full commitment. That would be fantastic. I had a reason behind it, and that's what keeps me going. And sometimes I do forget why I do it. Don't get me wrong, and I just totally enjoy in that regard. Just, if you're going to do it, please be committed. You can't invite someone in, say you're going to help them, and then just never speak to them again, because that can make it worse. Just get a nice few people that you totally trust. Start advertising your services, and advertise them maybe a couple of months before you officially are willing to take people on, and just say, look, we're in this group and we're going to be doing this. The opening date is this, but you can join before, but we won't really be interacting with you. We just want to get the feelers. We want to put the feelers out there to see how many people are interested, and do it that way. But good luck if you do. You've always got me to give you the support. I'll give you any support that I can.
Then that's really great advice about bringing committed people with you, and also about reaching out to the community before you launch so that there is awareness. An opportunity for you to talk about anything coming up in the next few months that I haven't asked you about.
What we always do is we always have a Project 23 day. They're pretty good. We normally give a couple of weeks notice. We've not set the date for this one, but when we get out there, we always will wear our t-shirts, and normally I supply these free of charge. And we go and we'll go to quite a popular place. And that on its own that works wonders, because people are like, I've got the same t-shirts for them. And on the back of it, it says keeping fit is much cheaper than therapy. And it is. And I don't know if you can see it properly. But
Well, I can, yes.
yeah.
I would love that. My version is walking my dogs.
This when I can be walking down the street and I have it on. And people say that is a great statement. But little things like that, but we just say this to try and help people, try and make people better, because it's a horrible, desperate place to be. When you can't control your thought, it's so frightening, so terrifying. Just get in touch with me. I'll help in some way. And if you're a woman, you want to speak to a woman, that's fine. But to be honest, I don't normally get discriminated against. The women, I seem to get on well with the women as well. If you're struggling, please get help. Whichever part of the world you're in, you've got to get help, because you're not going to get any better, and your life's going to be more and more miserable every single day. You don't want that. And we're proof in the pudding that you can get better. So look me in the eye and just think, I'm going to get better. Get yourself better. Because you don't want to be that person forever. Because you can't, your body, your mind, you know, existence won't allow it. And we don't want to talk about the only way out that people think, because it's horrendous. If you get help, there was no structure in place in Winningshaw when my brother died. And I had no idea that he was going to kill himself. No idea at all. But yet my son said, I always thought something like that, Dad. I was like, wow, that's amazing what different people said. But what there was no structure there. There was nowhere for him to go anyway. But now we're giving you a chance. We're offering, look, there's somewhere to go. We want to save lives. That's what we want to do. We don't want any financial gain. Everything's free of charge. And when you meet a group like ours and you know that they're not in it for themselves, they're in it for other people, that's when it comes good. That's when it comes good. Because everybody that comes to us knows we're not in it for any gain. We're in it purely to help you. And please don't forget that, because I love to part of helping people, and I'll help you. I'm looking directly at you. I will help each and every one of you guys out there. I will give you any kind of advice. All you've got to do is contact us.
Thanks so much, Mark. I know this is something people really do struggle with. It's great that you're there for them. I'm going to move to signature questions. The first one for you: if Manchester was a color, which color would it be and why?
Oh, without a doubt, red. It's
You want to tell
vibrant,
people
it's happy, and it's Manchester United.
that's great, and red is one of my favorite colors as well.
Yeah.
If you could choose a famous landmark in Manchester to represent you, which one would it be and why?
Oliver Cromwell with his Park. Brilliant. Been there forever, and it'll always be there. The symbol of a women's showman, standing tall with his hand on his weapon. Beautiful.
That is really special. And within Shaw Park's just down the road from where I live as well. So it's one of my favorite places. If you could trade lives with someone in Manchester for a day, who would it be with and why?
The most Mancunian guy I've ever met in my life. Very clever, very switched on. Well, saying that, I won't mind being Tyson Fury as well, because I love that man. He's a true winning show. In fact, I'd have to go with Tyson Fury. And the reason being is that he was an underdog and he proved everyone wrong.
I love that reason that you've chosen, that you were an underdog who proved people wrong. Lovely.
Yeah.
What's the most important life lesson you've learned so far? It sounds like you've learned a lot of lessons, but maybe one that you'd like to call out.
Be genuine. Just be genuine. Because if you give it all this big I am and you're not genuine, you'll soon get caught out and you'll soon be the laughing stock. Just be genuine. Can't beat that.
I think that authenticity is such an important thing, very important in today's day and age where there's a lot of fakeness. I totally agree. What's the most important personality trait to be successful in your role?
Got to be a good listener. Got to be somebody that is prepared to, if you're prepared to give 1 minute, you've got to be prepared to give an hour. You don't know how long somebody's going to be on that phone when they first contact you. Or if the message you've got to be there for the long haul. So your personality has to be open. You've got an open personality in regards of you're going to give it everything. Give it everything.
Point about being a good listener is really important, because you don't just take the first surface thing that somebody responds to you with, but really asking them, how are you doing? So speak to me and listen. That is really powerful, and that The gift of attention is a really powerful gift. Somebody who cares a lot about.
Good way of putting it. Very good way of putting it.
How can interested people reach out to you and learn more?
On YouTube, the Project 23 mental health group. But Project 23, you'll find the group on Facebook.
But last one, is there a funny or a heartwarming story you'd like to share with listeners to end the podcast?
I'll tell you what, there's a heartwarming one, and this is by far the most, I don't even know how to describe it. Well, get this. I go to a Winning Solo cricket club, I used to. I still go, I was there the other day. So when there's a cricket match on, because it can be a long day, people just walk around every now and again. I'd go for a walk before the match started. So I'm right opposite the clubhouse. I can't be any further away from the clubhouse. The only way for me to go is come all the way back round. And I remember looking, and I've seen some people pointing towards me, and this gentleman was walking. You know when you say somebody's got money? This man was dressed immaculately. He reminded me of a barrister or a doctor, but like a surgeon. He had this beautiful overcoat on, beautiful tie, plaques. I know he's coming to me because no one else would. And the match hadn't started yet. So I stayed where I was. And I'm trying not to look at him. It's quite embarrassing. Anyway, as he gets closer, it's quite emotional because I still don't know the reason that he did it. But he walks up to me and he just put his hand out and he shook my hand and he went, all I want to say is thank you. God, it gets me now. If you can see the hairs on my arms still stood up, he just said, thank you. Sat around and walked away. And I don't know to this day what I've done.
I think Mark, you must have helped one of his loved ones or himself.
I think so, but I don't know. I don't know. He was just, the tear in his eye got me when I think about it. He had the tear in his eye.
I was reading about suicide prevention because some of my guests have talked about this. 37 people get impacted by a single suicide. So it's not just the person themselves, it's all their family, their friends, their classmates, their colleagues. And this is what, when I've seen people struggle, I'm just trying to say that we need you in our lives.
Well, the thing that I put across to people, if you're walking down the street and someone's having a bit of a bad time, excuse me, and you'll go, hiya, you all right? And they'll go, I'm okay. And you know they walk past each other. Just at that second, are you all right? In the conversation, it changes everything. So I'll see you and I go, you okay? And you go, yeah. And I go, no, are you okay? And people think, oh yeah, he really is asking if I'm okay. He's not just a figure of speech. So if you had that second, no, but are you okay? Works wonders.
It does. I've seen that myself as well. Thank you so much, Mark. It's been a wonderful journey. All the work doing the community, and thank you for everything that you and the team at Project 23 are doing.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Mark, I really enjoyed learning about supporting mental health today. Dear listener, thank you so much for listening to the 7th episode of the Meet the Mancunian Podcast, Season 8. Tune in every Tuesday for a new episode or log on to meetthemancunian.co.uk to listen to all the episodes and learn more about my podcasting story. Next week on Tuesday, 23rd July 2023, I speak to Danny Ryder about supporting theatre in the community. Thank you for joining me on the Meet the Mancunian Podcast, Social Impact Stories from Manchester. I hope today's conversation has sparked new ideas and inspired you to act in your community. A big thank you to my wonderful community for your continuous support and valuable feedback. Your stories shape the very essence of my podcast, driving me forward with purpose. I'm eager to hear your thoughts. Visit my website at meetthemancunian.co.uk to share your insights. And remember, this podcast is your platform too. Let's stay connected on social media. Find me at @Meet the Mancunian on Facebook, @Man on X, and @Meet the Mancunian Podcast on YouTube. Together, we're more than just listeners. We're a vibrant community dedicated to making a difference in Manchester. Spread the love by sharing, commenting, and engaging with my guests and me. Keep fostering connections and always remember the power to change the world lies within each of us. Until next time,